Good day, everyone. This is Eric broadcasting live right here from the silly state of Florida right now. Just left Panama like 8 days ago. I'm here with Jeff, and welcome to our new podcast called Panama CrossTalk. We'll be covering a wide range of different topics for the expat community and for local Panamanians themselves. So we look forward to getting into it right here on Panama CrossTalk. Jeff, tell a little bit about yourself and how you went all the way down to Panama. How did you find Panama, and what's your background?
Hey, Eric, man, appreciate having the opportunity to partner with you on something like this. Very important for people who actually have decided to leave the United States and look for greener pastures. And, my background is military, business owner, working for the Department of Defense, Army Corps of Engineers, and then working short stints with GSA, which is federal government, as well as the VA federal government. So with the Department of Navy and Department of the Army, I was able to travel in different countries around the world and explore what life is like outside the U.S. And I realized very quickly that the infrastructure in other countries that we are partnered with in one way or the other have a better infrastructure in inner cities than we do in the United States. And living in those different countries is a better lifestyle than the one that we were born into in the United States. And so immediately when I was at my last assignment with the Navy in Bahrain for 3 years, I decided that when I retired, the United States was not going to be the place for me. And so I started looking for countries closer to the U.S. since I'm military and have military benefits to use. And I looked at Belize, but then I found out some things about Belize I wasn't happy with. And the hurricanes was one of them. But then I went further south and came down to Panama, which is a friendly country for us Americans. And then I just discovered that it was like paradise. It reminded me of different countries that I went to in Africa, the Middle East, and then even some of the other countries like India and China that I went to, that it gave me just a calm feeling that I could come here and live a good, comfortable life. The economy, the cost of living, everything was fitting into what I was going to be retiring on. And I could be very comfortable here that I could never be in the United States. So that's what drove me to Panama. And then I just started doing my little reconnaissance missions down here for like 3 different times. And the 4th time I moved.
Excellent. Yeah, that's a lot to figure out when you do all your stuff. You travel so many places and you looked at different countries and options. Pretty similar to me when I start looking at Panama. My background is I've former law enforcement officer. I worked for Sac County for over 12 years, was in probation. Later then got my investigation license and had an investigation agency for over 6 years. Transitioned from that into being a federal officer. I was assistant chief of police in the Midwest, and doing that work with my spouse who works for the VA system. Traveled around, retired, semi-retired now. I still do different consulting stuff in financial realm. And when I found Panama, I was actually doing a lot of traveling into Central America, going to the Dominican Republic, San Juan, Mexico. And my postman told me about Panama. He's like, your mail's always on hold. Where you go? I said, I like going down to Latin America. You like the atmosphere? You like the people? I loved it. He said, you had to check out Panama. I said, Panama? It wasn't even on my, I had to think, where's Panama? And he started talking to me about it. He's like, he was Panamanian. He said, I'm going to retire. He was up from the Chiriquí province. And from there, I started doing my research. My first trip was in 2008 in Panama, and I just fell in love with it. The country has grown so much from there. And then at that point, I started going back and forth, and I found that was a good little hub for me to go down to and still do my work off. All I need is a laptop continue doing that while I wait for my spouse there to retire. And I've been coming down to Panama since 2008. I come about 3 times a year, stay about a month or 2 months at a time. I just got back from there, matter of fact, spending 2 months. My brother now lives down in Panama. That was a surprise. He has never even been, just never seen it, but always, you never think your brother's listening to you or anything. And
Yeah.
He's like, dude, you've been telling me about it for freaking years. So after he doing some research and looking where he could go, it just made sense. And he popped down here. He's former military and got his law degree and left the state, worked for the state for many years. And he's now living in Panama, enjoying life. So that's pretty much the story now, man. And we hooked up down there when I came into your spot. And this is a community project that we want expats of all kinds, from European to North America, and even locals, Panamanians that are like-minded, to come join us in this venture, in this community. Since we now have a hub, a spot that we can go meet, help individuals out from some of the struggles we have seen a lot of with expats coming there, and that hub is Daiquiri 23. So can you give some people some information on how you came about having a brick and mortar business in the country of Panama?
That was definitely not my goal, because my goal was just to come and finally get used to being who I am without any titles, and live a good life and not be based on what my background is, just being where I'm at the time. But when I got here, I was staying in Punta Pacifica, and it's an upscale area of Panama. And when I would walk to the multi-plaza, I would see all the lower income housing on my way over the bridge. And I said, wow, there's this close to where I'm living a pretty comfortable life. And I can see that they're not. And I can't ignore that, because we all came from those type of settings. Not all, but people our age did not come up with a silver spoon in our mouth. And so we know what it must be like to see other people live in such a comfortable life, and just looking at us like we're nothing or nobody. And I didn't want us as people of color coming to the country of Panama, which is a country of color, and getting us to feel like they're less than us. No, they are you. You used to be them. Right. But you had opportunity that they didn't have, or those that did have it, they joined the military, got out of Panama. They was born in the Panama Canal Zone and what have you. They was able to better themselves. But unfortunately, when we left in 1999, those benefits went away. So long story short, I started giving back a little bit. And then I realized that you can't give your retirement for these causes. And how can you do this? And so I started asking questions. If you had money, what type of business would it be? And it all came down to food and drinks, right. Beer, liquor, what have you. And so I started venturing down that little rabbit hole. And next thing you know, if I start venturing down somewhere, it's already done. And so I found the location. And, of course, I didn't do it by myself. I had to have a Panamanian that actually gave me the insight on how you do business in Panama. And there's two ways. You do business the Panama way or the Panamanian way. And there is a difference. And that means that you can do it thinking that you know everything, you can do all on your own, but you can't. Or you do it the Panamanian way. You kind of partner with a Panamanian that actually is going to say, hey, this is how we do it. And you do it the Panamanian way, because the Panamanian is the government of Panama. Panamanians run the government of Panama. You can be on the good side of the Panamanians, or you can go with a bad Panamanian too. And there's a lot of that going on. So long story short, I ended up creating the logo for Daiquiri 23, and then went about renovating a space for a sports bar, and then picking up the adjacent space next to it for a place where we can come and entertain each other and dance and have our Frankie Beverly moment, have moments that we only know about when we actually go and share family moments or friends moment. And so I wanted a drop zone for us to be able to come to as expats, and a place that actually has resources that can give you factual information of how of how to come to Panama, and how to not to fall into pits that you can fall into, that there are certain groups and factions in Panama is just waiting for you to come with your money and your resources, or lack of resources, lack of knowledge. And then, we want to provide a community that they can feel like they're part of a community, and build a community that we all can enjoy down here in Panama, being from the U.S. So that's kind of how I did it. And then trying to give back to the school system is where you start, is where I started. And then helping some of the families that's less fortunate. And that's what the goal of being a Daiquiri 23 brick and mortar. It was not my goal, but when something is put on your heart, you go with your heart and be part of the community. So that's how I was able to do that. It's not easy, because I do not speak Spanish, but like I said, when you partner with someone that does, it helps a lot. But you still have to be able to handle your own self here in Panama.
Yeah, most definitely, and that's a great little spot right there that you have. I had a buddy tell me about it, and I don't know how many times I probably walk right past it, because one of my spots when I come down there is a condo right around the corner, right up the street from you, and I'm like, I seen that spot, but had no idea until a buddy told me, and we walked in, and then we were just kind of like, wow. And I was like, how many times I walked past it? Because I remember it used to even sat right there at that little Italian restaurant and enjoy a nice bottle of Spaniard wine and sit there and enjoy my stogie there. So I have a great spot now where I can just boom, right there in the corner and hang out right over there. So
basically, not to cut you off, it's a spot that's right here in El Cangrejo, right around the corner from Tours de Alba, across the street from Trip Hotel. So we're right here in the center of Panama City,
and right up from Goldie's also.
And Goldie's, and it's a $2 Uber trip over here if you're in the city. $2-3, that's all it takes for an Uber to get you here. And again, immediately the atmosphere is great when you come in, because you're going to be greeted by myself, the staff. You're going to see we have a great menu, the Jamaican food, different pastas. We have a great selection of beer, international beers, American beer, all the liquors, especially the American liquors and what have you, and Canadian liquor,
which is huge, because a lot of liquors aren't in a lot of bars down here, and you make personal trips to go acquire these liquors. Matter of fact, just a day ago, you went across the country to go get certain liquors that people have been asking for, and this is what you do. For some of the people, the patrons that come in all the time. So tell me a little bit about that, because that was interesting. I'm like, you want to go get what? He's like, man, I gotta go get.
Well, I'm gonna take care of family now. I got to do that, because I know family like liquor. That's going to be what they're accustomed to, like the different bourbons, like the Crown, the Yak, cognac. I know that I got to have things like that in stock when they walk in the door. And then we have so many different flavors of daiquiris, and that take special alcohol and different types of flavors and what have you. So I know that our palate is it's a variety of palates from different parts of the United States. If I know somebody's coming from the South, they done been to New Orleans a few times, and they know all the daiquiris, and they know the hookahs. They want to smoke hookah, so I put those things in play. The wings are the best in Panama. We got the Jamaican food, the oxtails, best price, best tasting in Panama, all of Panama. And that's what people come here for. That's what we're being known for. But we also have all the sporting events that people come inside and enjoy, or we have outside terrace that they want to smoke a stogie, get a glass of yak or whatever, and sit back and talk. And we have space over here where we play cards, bid whiz, spades, dominoes. Just bring yourself, bring your talk yourself over here and talk some trash and enjoy your evening. So we have those type of things available, and we're the only spot that has that in Panama, all of Panama. So I wanted something special, and it's being a community place. It's not based on race.
Exactly. That's what I was about to kind of dial into. A huge misconception is I've been in there, and it's very international, and some
Yes.
people, have a misconception that is, it's only for Afro Americans or Afro Panamanians or something like that, and it's not. You've had every nationality in there.
Yeah, because again, everyone that comes here to Panama, they're trying to get away from the chaos from North America, and in some of the other countries, they're neutral. They're just human beings. They look at you as that, and they're just saying, "Hey, I just come to have a good drink, get some food, and maybe play some dominoes with some folks, or throw some darts, or whatever the case may be." That's what we were looking for, and you seem to be the place that offers it. When you Google certain things like daiquiris or hookah or something like that, you're going to come up with, daiquiri 23. If you say American sports, you're going to Google it for Panama, and that daiquiri 23 is going to be in the top 1 or 2, because there's not a lot of places that do that. Even though we have the football matches for, the soccer events, the local Panamanian teams, and all their matches that they play. And then we have the international teams that play, Barcelona and what have you. We have all those things going on in one location, and you can pick and choose what channel that you want to watch which sport on in your language.
Exactly. You was even telling me about a bunch of Canadian Canucks that came down and wanted to have the hockey on it, and you had that on set up.
Yeah, Stanley Cup time. If that's what you want to watch, come on down here and root for your team. And that's basically what we do. We're welcome and open to everyone, even though sometimes people put you in a certain category, but it's wrongfully being put in a category that doesn't exist. You created that category, but Daiquiri 23 didn't create that category. You created that by thinking that it's only for certain types of people, and it's for everybody.
That's the mundo. Yeah, it's very international. That's just old conditioning. People come from the north or from where they're coming from, even over the pond. So
yes,
that's why we want this whole nice little spot community of like-minded individuals to leave that. That's one things we see so much of in Panama. People coming down with that old conditioning, that baggage, and people are leaving for a reason. People are coming to live there. Picture your best life. How do you want that to be? So, I mean, that's pretty much what people really need to do, and dial that knob down quite a bit, because things move fluent in Panama, and it's a Panama way. That rat race, that especially people from New York come down, they go like this. I'm like, no bueno. It's not going to happen like that here. So when people just learn to just slow it down, not be in a rush, you'd be amazed on what doesn't get under your skin. And, other than being on vacation down there, why are you rushing anyway? You should be taking it easy, enjoying the moments, enjoying the fact you're. And so many people kind of isolate themselves from the locals, that this is why they're having this struggle when coming down here. So there's a lot of do's and don'ts, and there's places that and things that you want to know what's real, what's tangible.
I'm glad you said that word, what's real.
Yeah.
What's real is this: a community is in person. It's not on some digital platform that you consider that's a community. That's not a community. That's so impersonal. That means the only way that you can communicate is through digital platforms. We are face-to-face people. You can't have family that you can't see, only if they're across the pond, or me being in Afghanistan somewhere, and this is the only way that I can talk to them is on video. But we're physically right here in the same city, and we're actually operating our lives in a digital platform as if you can't get up and go somewhere and go face to face with somebody, not just people that follows your clique. Get outside your comfort zone, and you're going to find that you're going to meet a lot of great people that have good intentions. That's going to be a very good supporting cast for you to have positive vibes with, and not have all these little personal opinions about one another. It's not about that. We're too old and mature for that, I thought. But in some ways, it's still immature thinking. I'm not calling anyone of our age immature, but the thinking process in which they make decisions on who they communicate with and who they want to surround themselves with. Because guess what? If I see you fall out on the ground and you need CPR, am I just going to walk past you because you're in somebody else's clique? Or am I going to reach down and try to help save your life? Which one do you think I'm going to do? I'm going to help save your life.
Right.
I don't care if you was KKK at the time. I'm going to reach down and try to help save your life, because to me, I see a human being. I don't see what you call yourself. I see a human being. And being a community in Panama is in person. It's in person. It's not these digital platforms that's been created to cause you to be in this faction or that faction. That needs to go away. You brought that from where you came from. That needs to go away. We're all one here. And that's basically what enticed me to be here in Panama and to have a place for us to come to so we can get to know each other and know each other on a different level. Because you're going to come here, your blood pressure is going to go down immediately. Did you know that? Everything goes down immediately. But you're going to come here and then bring the same thing with you to keep your blood pressure up. So you're going to need to keep taking blood pressure pills.
Right.
The atmosphere is immediately affects your health in a positive way. But don't come here and stay in your apartment. You didn't come here for that.
Right.
And you know, so those are just some of the things. I hear all the stories. Being a sports bar, you hear all the stories. I'm not a bartender, but I hear all the stories.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of great stories, and then there are a lot of stories that I hate to hear.
Yeah, unfortunately. Yeah, that's kind of why we're doing what we're doing.
Yeah.
It's sad to see people put so much into coming to a new place and then just get caught up in the wrong stuff and then get disappointed. And there's no need for that. We're all coming down here. This is all our, some our dreams to be able to live abroad. And, it's not easy, but when you have a community, as I say, it takes a tribe to grow. So, I mean, it doesn't have to be that difficult. And we want to make it a whole lot easier for a lot of people. So that's awesome, man. That's awesome.
And Panama has rolled out the red carpet for those of us coming from the United States.
Yeah.
And we're one of the blessed countries to have, give us that red carpet treatment, because they're not doing it for other countries, but they're doing it for us coming from America. It's not based on what zip code you came from in the U.S. It's not based on anything like that. It's just based on you having that blue passport and you having the means to come here and be a part of a community that you're adding value. You're not actually coming here to take anything from Panama. You're adding to why Panama can be so great.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Them being open to people from all over the world to come in, and I mean, when people doing their research, they can see how much it's costing for residencies all around the world. Spain, how high they've gone. Mexico's going up sky high. Costa Rica, they've got some issues over there doing their stuff. I mean, we have a huge population now of Germans and Dutch and Danish that are all coming over because of situations globally, economically over there in Germany area and in the Danish and the Dutch area. So they're now there's a huge investment coming over down here to Panama. So it's just going to continue to grow. People from all over the world, even South America, Argentinians, Venezuelans that are coming up to Panama. So it's something that looks very attractive to many people, and Panama's making it very accessible, and they've never really relied on tourism for
Correct.
for the country. So
and I know, again, not to cut you off, I know this is just our first introduction of our live streaming, but we wanted to make sure that we covered the things that people really need to know. Why would you listen to someone like Eric and Jeff? For one, I've been here 3 years, and I came at a time when people were just starting to come. And I've been able to see the difference between when I came and where we are now. And it's still great opportunities for us to come and do great things. And I just feel that, getting with the right professionals when they come and hit the ground, we call it boots on the ground. We're not talking about no line dance or nothing like that. This is what a military term is, boots on the ground. You got to hit the ground running over here. But you're going to need a good lawyer that's going to get things started. You can't maneuver anything in Panama without a good lawyer. So that's going to be the first thing you need to be able to select. And that's basically some of the things we're going to talk about is how can you select the right professional that's going to get you on the right path immediately. Relocating to another country is no joke. You hate it moving in the United States. Just think about moving to another country. So boots on the ground, good attorney, and make sure that they are not an attorney that is a criminal attorney. They're an immigration lawyer.
Exactly.
Any
there are a lot of now criminal attorneys that are now looking to cash in on people relocating, and they have very little experience in it. And you'll see prices jumping. You get a quote for one thing, and once you get here, it's this much now, and it could be some shady stuff. So you gotta watch your step. Got to be very, very careful.
Yeah. Trust but verify. I don't care what somebody told you initially on all these YouTube channels and what have you, but it's never what it seems to be once you get boots on the ground over here in Panama. So trust but verify with more than one source before you actually sign any documents or commit to anything in Panama. Trust but verify, because everything is in Spanish. And if you don't speak Spanish, there's some fine line there that you're going to sign and agree to that you didn't know exists there. That's why it's good to have an attorney that's going to look at everything for you, even your lease to your apartment.
Right. So, guys, we're going to be covering topics, all kind of topics, things to do, topics. You're gonna see some of our personality coming out with a lot of humor, because Jeff and I we laugh about some crazy stuff and we're gonna share some of the humorous parts of transitioning that you'll go through. But this is definitely not a podcast we're going to be taking ourselves too seriously. We just want to see you be able to make it successfully, be part of a community that's like-minded, that comes down here, that has positive mind thinking forward and not looking backwards, and doing some great things and showing you some great places along the way that we have found through our navigating through Panama. That's to come. Any closing words, Jeff, that you want to add to the folks on our next podcast that we'll have and dive into?
Well, the main thing is that nothing is perfect, but it can be perfect for you. It's just how that you get started, and how that you keep an open mind, and it's how that you basically allow things to happen naturally, organically, and trying to forcefully make things happen in Panama, because Panama operates based on patience. And if you don't have the patience, don't get frustrated. It's not intentional. That's just the culture of Panama. It's just that they're not in a hurry, and most of us are retired. We should not be in a hurry to do anything. Just give ourselves time to soak it all in, and just take a deep breath before you actually blow a gasket and cause yourself, some health issues and ruin your day. Right. Every day is a great day. And I think that if they come down here with the right mindset, that they'll enjoy Panama just like I have, because I'm never leaving. I'm not going back to the U.S. I don't even want to visit, you know. So, and me being military, my military benefits, all you veterans out there, retirees, great place to come to, because they take very good care of you, better than the VA system in the United States.
Exactamundo. Excellent. Well, guys, we look forward to coming back with our next one with you. Be sure to subscribe. Put some comments down below. Some things that maybe you want to have some clarity to. Some questions that aren't really getting answered for you. Also, this will be a evolving podcast. We will also be having like a live webinar where you will be able to come on there and speak to us personally also. So we're not going to be like any other broadcast. We want to interact with you guys and get to know you guys, especially if you're coming down and you're looking at Panama for a place to make it to your base camp there for you. So we look forward to seeing you guys on our next episode. And remember just to keep your eyes on your goals and stay positive. Peace and love.
Hey, look, we may even have Cat Williams on here.
Jeez, man. All right, guys. That's going to be it for us. We'll check you guys later. Peace and love.
Eyes bloodshot and I'm faded now. I try calling to persuade you how I'm a change man with a new plan, making moves, making big moves like I rule the whole damn galaxy. So tell me, are you starry-eyed? If you are, would you be burned?